Have you tried them? Form input. So both examples tried, everyone. So they are working fine. Right. So next important after understanding how input and output is managed. Now we need to start with learning the language of JavaScript. All these days what we learned is how to integrate JavaScript, how JavaScript refers HTML. So these are the basics, how it controls input and output, all these up. So next important, we need to understand the language basics. So JavaScript language basics. So remember, these are language basics means what are the basics of programming language? Means programming language related entry level concepts. That means what every programmer needs to know. Now, by seeing this, some people will ask, will you teach advanced JavaScript? Right? So this is not about advanced or basics. Here language basics means what a programming language learner should learn. That is the basics I am telling. It contains both advanced concepts as well as the basic concepts. So we are going to learn language basics. So it will have both old and new features. That means this will be from with the new features. Language basics with the new features of better I will say the version from ES6 and higher version. These are language basics, but from ES6 and higher version, these concepts will be included. That means both advanced and the old concepts, the new and old concepts. Because sometimes people divide language like basic JavaScript, advanced JavaScript. So we are not going to divide like that. JavaScript, JavaScript. There is nothing like advanced JavaScript or basic JavaScript. These are our own divisions. If you are not teaching anybody complete JavaScript, then you divide like basics, advanced. But if you are learning complete JavaScript, it contains all the concepts, the basic concepts, advanced concepts, everything. So we will not divide like that. We will learn everything. In that, basic will be there, advanced will be there. Both options will be there. So in the language basics, usually we have variables, data types, operators, statements, and functions. Up to this, these are all programming basics. After that, you will learn about OOP concepts, DOM interactions, browser model, and all. So here, our intention is to tell that these are the basics topics every programmer should learn. Every programmer should learn. In these basic topics, Advanced level will be there. Basic level will be there. All new features, old features, everything. So first we need to start understanding with variable. In JavaScript, first we will start learning about variables. Actually, the technical definition is variables are storage locations in memory where you can store a value and use it as a part of any expression. So variables are storage locations in memory where you can store a value and use it as a part of any expression. So you can store values and you can use it. So you can access and use any value. So its intention is you can reuse a value. You can reuse a value by storing it in a variable, by storing it in a variable. You can reuse a value by storing it in a variable. So variables are storage locations in memory. I will show you how it works without variable. For example, I am creating a simple input here. Let's take a new file. And here we define as variables HTML. And here I am designing a simple script. First, we will practice in a simple script. Now, I want to take input from user and print some details. So I want to take input from user, his name. I will use a prompt. That means document.write. I am printing a message, hello. So after that, I want to display a message taken from user. And we will take a message from prompt. That message we have to add beside this hello word. Then I will use a plus. And here I will ask a prompt. In the prompt, I will say enter name. So whatever name they enter, it will print that name beside that hello. After that, plus, I will put a break, line break. After line break, again plus, I am writing some other message. Later you will learn shortcut for that, how to write in a shortcut way. So plus another message. So here I said hey and username. Again username. Again username. Then again you have to ask prompt. So enter name again. And here I will put a plus, what are you doing today? Something like this. Doing today. That is the message we are giving. That means here we are taking username and printing that name. Same name I want to use in another place. Then again I am asking to enter name wherever again I need it. Why? What happened to the name he entered previously? Previously he entered a name. Why you are asking again? Because when he entered the name previously, we haven't stored anywhere. If you haven't stored anywhere, it is gone. After printing, it is gone. Then how to use it again? We have to ask again. That means you are asking what is your name. And you are displaying the name. Again, you are asking, again, tell me the name. He says that just now I told you. But you said that I never stored in my memory. I am not storing that anything in my memory. I just forgot after printing. This is the point how it works actually. That means you see now I am asking username. I entered some John. It is asking again name. Again I am entering John. Then it will print that. So that means wherever I want to address him, I need to ask his name. That is not good. When he first entered the name, that we will store in memory so that we can access and use from anywhere. So that we don't need to ask every time. Once we ask, we store in memory and we access from any place and use it. That means whatever the prompt message they entered first, we will allocate some memory. In that memory, so many divisions will be there. For one division, we will give some reference name. This is called variable name. In that variable name, we will store whatever they entered so that we can display that whenever again they want from the variable. That means from that memory, we can access and use it. We don't need to ask every time. So what are variables? Variables are storage locations in memory. You can store some value and you can use it as a part of any expression. So what is the solution for this? This is the concept I will give you here. This is example without a variable. This is how we define. Now with variable, how? What we will do is, we will first ask them to enter name and store in a username. Temporarily, I am just giving username. Username is a variable. In that variable, we will enter the details entered from prompt, enter name. Then this variable I will use here. This variable I will use here. And the same variable I will use here also. And what is that variable? User. That means now how many times it will ask? It will ask only once. And you entered, it will use in different places. So you are collecting the value and you are storing in memory so that you can access and use it from any place. So variables are storage locations in memory where you can store a value and use it as a part of any expression. So with variable, actually it looks like this. This is an example. So with variable. Now who is variable here? So in this username is a variable. Am I right? In that username you are storing and we are accessing and using from any place. Now, configuring variable, how to write a variable? We say configuration. So variable configuration. How the variables are configured, how the variables are written. Actually, every variable configuration comprises of 3 phases. Every variable configuration contains 3 phases actually. One is declaration, assignment, and initialization. Every variable have 3 phases. The variable declaration, variable assignment, and variable initialization. Actually, declaring of variable is not required in JavaScript if JavaScript is not in strict mode. If JavaScript is not in strict mode, declaring is not required. That is optional. That means I will show you what is meant by declaring, assignment, initialization. Because sometimes people have a wrong idea about these 3 things. Means they mistake in understanding. Actually, I will show you the point. So here we have, suppose we are having a simple variable. Let's say so here we are having some var x. Later I will tell you what is var and all. We will see that in the next point we will discuss. This x is a variable, and variable is declared by using which keyword? Var. Actually, this var keyword is also not required. We can directly declare some variable. We can directly put some variable. But it is not possible if JavaScript is running in strict mode. If JavaScript is in strict mode, variable declaration is compulsory. Actually, suppose see var x. Into x, we are sending some value. Actually, in the first line, we are mentioning what should be the variable name. And we are mentioning some rules about the variable. Actually, this var defines rules. That means it defines rules for this variable called x. How x should work, that is decided by this var. So you defined some variable name. We defined some variable name. Then this is actually called, we call it as declaration. Declaration. After declaring, we are sending some value into that variable. After declaring, this is called assignment. We call assignment. So sometimes people are misguided here. If I ask what is happening in second line, then many times people who learn Java, C, C++ and all, they say we are initializing a value into X. That is wrong. This is not initialization. This is called assignment. You are not initializing a value. You are assigning a value. Initialization means you are declaring a variable y. While declaring itself, you send some value. Then it is called initializing. This is called initialization. So initialization means sending a value into variable at the time of declaring itself. This is actually called as initialization. There is lot of difference, and this very important also. This matters for JavaScript. That means what is declaration, what is assignment, and what is initialize. So declaration means it contains a variable name and its rules, variable names and rules. Assignment means it contains a value that it have to store. Usually assignment happens after declaration. Now initialization means at the time of declaring, you are sending some value. Remember, at the time of declaring, if you are not sending value, then we call as just declare. After declaring, if you are sending value, then it is called assignment. You are assigning a value. While declaring itself, you are sending some value. This is called initialize. For example, after initialization into y, I am sending some 20. What you call now? What you call this now? This is again assignment only. There is no doubt. It is assignment only. Because at first line, declaration, initialization, finish. Then whenever you send any another value, it is assignment. Suppose again you are sending into this y is equal to 30. What I am doing? What I am doing? Again assignment only. Right? Any number of times you send value into this, then it is called as what? Assignment. You may call as reassigned. Right? So any number of times you assign, it is assignment. So what is declaration? Declaration contains rules and reference name. It contains rules and reference name. Assignment contains value. At the time of declaring, if you send a value, then it is called as initialization. So these are the three phases of a variable: declaration, assignment, and initialization. So declaration is configuring variable reference name with the set of rules. That means some var, some username, or say var some price, something like this. This is declaring. And assignment is the process of configuring a value into variable after the declaration. After the declaration phase. After the declaration, simple. That means username is equal to some John, like this. Some price is equal to some 3000, like this. That is called assignment. Initialization is the process of configuring a value into variable at the time of declaration. At the time of declaration. Initialization is the process of configuring a value into variable at the time of declaration. At the time of declaration itself, if you are sending a value, that is called initialization. That means var username is equal to John, like this, or var price is equal to 3000, like this. This is initialization. So variable declaration, variable assignment, and variable initialization. Here, another important point is declaring variable is not mandatory in JavaScript if it is not in strict mode. If it is not in strict mode, declaring is not mandatory. That means you can directly, suppose you are writing like script x equal to 10 and document dot write. So we have x equal to plus x and close. So this is valid, no problem. Declaring variable is mandatory if JavaScript, JavaScript is in strict mode. Declaring variable is compulsory. And how to turn on the strict mode? At the top, we use strict. Use strict like this. Now, in this case, this is invalid. It is not valid because x equal to 10, is it declaration? It is not declaration. It is what? Assignment. You are trying to assign a value into a variable which is not at all declared. Then it is invalid, right? Above, why it is valid? Because it is in which mode? Above, it is not in strict mode. So if it is not in strict mode, no need to declare a variable. You can directly use it, right? So that is variable declaration. So it is always recommended to declare a variable and use the variable. Right? Declare and use the variables. So let's see here how to declare variables. How we declare variables. That's important. Variables are declared in JavaScript by using following keywords. We have var, we have let, and const. These are the three keywords. So variables are declared in JavaScript by using these three keywords, var, let, and const. All three are used for declaring variables. Then what is difference between them? What is difference between var, let, and const? Let's see that. What is difference between these three variables? So let's see here. First, I'm showing you a simple example. X equal to 10, document.write x equal to the value of x. You can see it is going to print. There is no problem in that. Let's open inspect and the console, and yeah, there is no problem in this. I told you JavaScript related all errors will be in console. Now I am keeping this in strict mode. So use strict and semicolon. Then automatically it will have an error. It cannot display. It says that X is not defined. Now I'm defining here X with var. And you can see that it is allowing. I am defining with let and some 20. It is also allowing. I am defining with const and some 40, and that is also allowing. All are allowing. So you can configure a variable by using var or let or const. Then what is difference between them? All three are working fine. What is difference between them? Difference is very important. We will see first. So what is var? So that is the first important point. What is var? Actually, it configures a function scope variable. It configures a function scope variable. Var configures a function scope variable. What is meant by a function scope variable? Function scope variable means you can declare in any block of a function and can access from any another block in the function. That is called function scope. You can declare in any block of a function and can access from any another block inside the function. That is called as function scope. I will explain that. I will show you that here practically. You can declare in any block and access from any another block. Inside a function, you can do anywhere. For example, see now. What does that line means? Here, another point is one more I will define here. So it allows declaring, assignment, and initialization. All three are allowed. It allows declaring, it allows assignment, and it allows initialization. The declaration, the assignment, and initialization. It is going to allow all three. So what is declaring, assignment, initialization, we already know, but what is function scope, I will show you. Here I am writing a function f1. After writing the function, that function will not execute. It contains some set of lines. To execute, we have to call the function f1 here. Then it will execute. So at the top, you are writing a functionality, and at the bottom, you are calling the functionality. You are accessing it. Okay, in this function, I will define var x. So it is declaring x equal to 10. This is assignment. In that function, I am writing an if x equal to 10. This is called block. Actually, function is also having a block. This is function block. And this is if block. Now, in this if block, we will define where y is equal to 20. This is what? This is not declaring. This is what? Initialization. Here we are initializing. So all three are here. That means I will put a comment here. Later I will give you comments information. So in any program, if you want to put some note comments, then single line comments, you have to put double slash. Double slash is used for one line comments. If you want multi-line comments, you have to use slash star and star slash. That list I will tell you. That is multi-line comments. Initially, I put 2 lines, 2 slashes. That is one line comment. This is called declaring. This is called assignment. And this is called initialization. So we have all the 3 phases here. Now I want to print the value of x and the value of y. Now, where y is declared and initialized, y is declared in this block. I am going outside that block and I am typing here document.write x equal to plus x. In the next line, plus y is equal to plus y is y. Now, y is not declared in the function block. It is declared inside a if block. That means it is present in an inner block. Now the question is this y accessible outside this block? It is declared with which variable, which keyword? Var. Then what var will do is, it will make this variable, wherever you declare, it will make that variable as function scope. It will make the variable as function scope. In any block you may declare, it becomes a function scope. That means in that function, anywhere you can access. In any another block you can access, or anywhere inside that function you can access. That means now var becomes a function scope variable. Function scope variable means this y becomes anywhere accessible inside this function. Even you declared in an inner block, it is accessible outside also, but only in this function. Outside this function, not accessible. That means inside this function, anywhere it is accessible. That is the meaning of a function scope variable. Function scope variable means you can declare in any block and you can access from any another block. This is the meaning of function scope, and you can see it is working fine, no problem. That means it is going to use, it's no problem. X is 10, y is 20. Remember, y is not declared at function level. It is declared at block level. But it is accessible outside the block because it is declared with var, then it is function scope. You can access anywhere. That is actually the concept of function scope. This example I will give here to understand the function scope. This is important. Okay. So var allows declaring, it allows assignment, and it allows initialization, and it allows to declare in any block and access from any another block. Another point about var is where it allows shadowing. It allows shadowing. Where allows shadowing. This is very important. Where allows shadowing. Actually, what is shadowing? See, shadowing is nothing but shadowing is the process of declaring or initializing same name identifier within the scope. Shadowing is the process of declaring or initializing same name identifier within the scope. Same name identifier within the scope. This is called shadowing actually. For example, I am writing like this here, where y is equal to 10. Now y is equal to 20. What I am doing here, first line, what is happening? Initialization. Second line, what is happening? Assignment. Am I right? Again, I given y is 30. What is happening? Again, what? Assignment. Any number of times it is assignment. Again, I am defining where y equal to 40. This is shadowing. That is called shadowing. This is not allowed in many programming languages. And this is not even allowed in JavaScript. For other keywords, it is allowed only for var. That means what is shadowing? Means you are redeclaring a variable again. Why you are redeclaring a variable or reinitializing a variable? The same name identifier again you are declaring. Why you are doing that? Sometimes we do that. Why? Because once we declare a variable, after that we use it. Sometimes memory have a problem. Even the memory is removed, some temporary data it will keep inside the memory. That means the memory deleted, but some backup and some temporary data may be still there in that memory. That leads to occupying some memory space. That means, for example, I think you people know you have an option called uninstall. You can uninstall any software. After uninstalling any software, when you install a software, some memory is allocated for it. And in that memory, all the files are copied. When you uninstall, sometimes the files are deleted, but the memory is still available. Even you uninstall, the memory is still available. The memory is not removed. In that memory, some temporary files may be present. Some backup files or temporary files may present. Then what you have to do is you need to delete that memory also. Generally, we call that as Windows registry. You have an option called Windows registry. If you complain to any hardware engineer that I uninstalled a software, but when I install, the same old one is coming, then he will say that after uninstalling, make sure that you removed it from the registry. Because Windows registry is something which can keep your information even when you delete. Because sometimes it uses that registry for restoring your apps. That means any app is accidentally deleted. To restore it, they use that registry. That's the reason if you want to permanently clean up, then you have to remove from registry. That means even you deleted the content, memory may still available and it may still continue. We don't want like that. Whatever previous memory is there, clean up. Allocate a fresh new memory, but name should be same. That means previously which name I have used with the same name, allocate memory again by cleaning up all the previous memory so that I can use the memory newly again. But name must be same. Memory is newly used. This is called as what? Shadowing. We call this mechanism as shadowing. And this is allowed for var. You see now here, I am saying y is equal to 30. It is not shadowing. It is called as what? It is called assignment. Huh? Now you can see that the assignment is working fine. No problem. Now I am declaring here var y is equal to 40 again. This is called as what? Shadowing. And you can see that. So it is also allowed. There is no problem in that. That is shadowing. Several programming languages will show this as an error, saying that y is already declared. You can't declare again. But that is possible here. So that is the concept called shadowing. So var is a keyword which allows shadowing. This is shadowing. So we have declaring, assigning, initializing, and shadowing. Another important. So var allows, it allows hoisting. It allows hoisting a variable. Var allows hoisting a variable. So what is the meaning of hoisting? What is the concept of hoisting? It is not hosting. Hosting is different. Hoisting is different. Hosting and hoisting are two different words, right? What is the meaning of hoisting? It seemed like you heard flag hoisting. Flag hoisting. On August 15th, we hoist flag. You know flag hoisting, na? Don't know? Oh, then why you are looking like that? No? You know flag hoisting, na? Flag hoisting, that means we hoist a flag on a pole. Why we hoist a flag? Top. Why we hoist a flag? What is the meaning of hoisting a flag? What is the reason why we hoist flags? Memory. Remembering. That means you are hoisting India flag means you are remembering India. Then so there is a certain meaning for that, right? So meaning is actually, see, generally what is the concept of hoisting is, suppose we have some group, suppose we are having some group of people, some group of people are here. Some group of people are here. Okay, fine. Now we have some mountains, like we have some mountains. And these people or suppose some 1 kilometer distance from that mountain. Now what happened is one of the person from this group goes first here to this mountain. And after that, he will hoist a flag. He will hoist a flag here on this mountain. He will hoist a flag. Somebody captured some fort, then they will hoist a flag there. So this is to tell that I am here. That is the meaning. Then what happens is people cannot see him, but they can see this. And they can notify that, okay, he is there. Right? We cannot see the person here. And we can see that here. Right? That means we know that, okay, he is here, there. So anybody reaches Everest and say hoist a flag to tell that I am here. Right? Somebody hoisting a flag on moon, then they say that we are here. That is the meaning actually. So hoisting indicates that where we are. So that we are there. We are here. That is the point. Now why this word is used here? This is called hoisting. This is hoisting. Why it is used here is, suppose you see now, I am writing here x equal to 10, document dot write x is equal to the value of x. Is it valid? Is this code valid? It's not valid. Why? Why it is not valid? We are not declaring. Why I need to declare? Because it is in strict mode. It is in strict mode, we have to declare. So compiler is going to come here. It will see strict mode. After that, it will go to function. It will verify start. It will verify X. It is not declared, then it shows error. It shows error. That is how compiler will process. Interpreter or compiler will process like that. Now see here, obviously it will show error. It says X is not defined. Now I am declaring X here. I am declaring X here. Now what this var can do is, it can hoist your variable. Var can hoist your variable. So it can hoist your variable X here. Then actually compiler starts from first line. It will see you are in strict mode. It will see you are having a function. It will enter into the function and it can see that it is hoisted here. And it can use it here. It can use it here. That means before it reaches, it can see it. Anywhere you keep, it can see it. That means you are showing the compiler that X is here. That means you are waving the compiler that I am here, X is here. This is not possible in other languages. In other languages, this will show an error. It's because in other languages, according to the order, first you have to declare, then you have to use. Here you can use, declare anywhere. Because compiler can see from wherever it is. It can see from wherever it is. That means you can see that the compiler can see from anywhere, because what var speciality? Var speciality, it will hoist that variable. When a variable is hoisted, then compiler can see from any place. Then there is no order. There is no order required. Now you can see that. You can see here, this is valid. It is working fine. This is not valid in any programming languages. Other programming languages, this is not valid. That means it will immediately say that X is not defined. But you define, but it will again say that it is used before it is declared. That means first it should be declared. After that, it should be used. It will say that you cannot use before declaring. But this is possible. This mechanism, this is actually called as what? Hoist. Var supports hoisting. That is very important. This is hoisting. So hoisting allows to use and declare or initialize a variable. Declare, use and declare or initialize a variable. There is no order dependency for declaring and accessing. There is no order dependency for declaring and accessing. You can access and declare, you can declare and access, it doesn't matter. That is actually hoisting. That means X equal to 10, document.write X equal to plus X and var X. This is hoisting. That is the mechanism of hoisting. So that is about var, variable. How do we configure variable? Right. So this is one point. So let me give the example here. This is the example for that. So this is all you need to know about var. What is about var? Next important is what is LET? What is LET? So it's just an important keyword here. Actually, what is difference here is LET, it configures a block scope variable. It configures a block scope variable. It is used to configure a block scope variable. What is var? It is function scope variable. This is block. Block scope variable means it is accessible in the block where it is configured, and to its inner blocks. That is also possible. It is accessible in the block where it is configured and its inner blocks. A block can have another inner block inside. It is accessible to that also. So inner blocks, it is possible. That means, see here now, the same previous concept we will see now. So this is a function var x is equal to, let's say now all LET x equal to 10. if x equal to 10, this is the block. In this LET y is equal to 20. I'm accessing document.write x equal to the value of x and y is equal to the value of y. Now, here you saw that LET supports all three. It supports declaring, it supports assignment, and it supports initialization. It supports all three, same like var. That means you can declare, you can assign, you can initialize. It will support all the three. So it supports declaring, assignment, and initialization. All three are supported. So you can see that here I am using all three. This is declaring, this is assignment, and this is initialization. But you can observe that now y is declared inside this block. And you are trying to access outside the block. Here you want to access y. That means you are trying to access y outside the block where it is declared. It's not possible. You cannot access because y is inside a block and it is declared with which keyword? LET. Previously it was declared with var. So var allows. But when you declared with LET, it will be restricted only in that block. It's not accessible outside now. For example, see now, you can see that here y is not defined. But if it is declared with var, then it is no problem. It is accessible. If it is declared with LET, then it is not possible. You cannot access. Then I will do one thing. I shift this line into this block. Y is in the same block. Is X in the same block? X is not in the same block. X is outside now. X is outside. That means X is in this block. Y is inside this block. Am I right? Now tell me, is X accessible here? Because X is also declared with LET. Is X is accessible inside this block? Accessible or not? Read the definition. See. Block scope means what I told. Block scope means it is accessible inside the specified block and inner block. So now if is an inner block and the function is the outer block, now is X accessible inside? It is accessible. So we can access that inside. So it is accessible to inner block. Now it is working fine. That means you can access in the block level. Now remember, X is function level. Then, but you can't say function scope because it is function block. Suppose later inside function another function comes. It cannot work. It cannot work outside function. I will tell you those in function concept. As of now, what is the difference between block scope and function scope? Block scope is accessible in the block and its inner blocks. Function scope anywhere accessible inside the function, right? That is important. Another important point is, so let me copy this example. That is the example actually. Another important is, so it will not support it will not support shadowing and hoisting. Both are not supported. LET will not support shadowing and hoisting. Shadowing and hoisting is supported only by, so it is supported only by VAR. LET will not allow shadowing and hoisting. Shadowing is not supported. So that means you see now, I will put here y is equal to 30. Is it valid? Is it valid? What I am doing now, y equal to 30 means what I am doing? Assigning. Is assigning valid? Yes, assigning is valid. There is no problem. You can assign. Right? Suppose I am defining LET y is equal to 40. This is not valid. This is not valid. This is shadowing now. Then immediately it says that y identifier already declared. Okay. Now here I am actually first declaring with var. After that I am defining with y. LET. Is it valid? Don't trust on red marks. Don't trust on red marks. Red marks will always misguide you. This is not valid. Because shadowing means not about, see the definition. In the definition, I told you about identifier. Shadowing is about identifier. Identifier means same name identifier. Identifier is y. That means it doesn't matter which keyword you are using. It matters whether you used that variable name or not. That means is that variable name already in use or not? It may be in use by other keyword, no problem, but it will verify that this y is not taken by somebody. That means important is anybody may take. That name should not be taken. So shadowing is about name. Which name they are using. That means if it is taken by somebody else, same name, it cannot get. You cannot get. So that means here the point is, this is also invalid now. You can see it is invalid. Y is already declared. That means it is not about which keyword only you are using. It is about which name you are using. What LET will check? LET will check with that name any another variable is there or not. It may be with var or LET or const. It will check that same name is not taken by somebody. So shadowing is about name. So it will verify that that name is not taken. That is unique. That is what important actually, shadowing. Another option here, let's see. That means it will not allow the shadowing and hoisting also. X equal to 10. Document dot write x equal to value of x. Here var x. This is shadowing, na? Not shadowing, hoisting. This is hoisting. I will try to hoist by using LET. And you can see it is not allowing. It simply says cannot access before initialized. Even you defined x equal to 10 or 5, you initialized here. It doesn't matter. Order is important for it. That means var allows to hoist, but LET will not allow to hoist. It will not allow to hoist. If it is var, then it will allow. That means if it is var, then it is allowed. It is var, then it is allowed. You can see that it's working fine. That is the configuration of variable, right? So what is the difference between var and LET? Var is function scope, LET is block scope. Var allows shadowing and hoisting, LET will not allow. So if you want a restricted variable, we don't want the variable to be shadowed, means nobody should take that variable again. So then better you go with LET, right? So better not to say let, right? LET. We use the word LET and there is no full form for LET, right? Those are just keywords, right? Now, another point is we have const. So what is const? It configures a block scope variable, same like LET. It configures a block scope variable. Const will define a block scope variable. That means in which block you configured in the same block and its inner block it is accessible. So that is same like LET, no change. Here one more important is it will allow only initialization. So it will not allow declaring and assigning. It's more restricted. It allows only initialization, no declaring, no assignment. Assignment and declaring not allowed. That means you say const price, this is invalid. You say price is equal to some 20,000, this is also invalid. Because first one is declaring, second one is assigning, both are not allowed. That means const price is equal to 30,000, only this is valid. After that, price is equal to 40,000, this is invalid. There is no chance, only initialization. Only initialization. So const indicates that at the time of declaring itself, it will take a value. After that, it will not allow to change the value. And this is misunderstood by many people. If we ask any learner what is constant, then he will say constant means read only, sir. Read only means you cannot change. Constant means constant, you cannot change. No, that is wrong. Constant also can change. Constant is not about changing. Then if you say that constant is read only, you cannot change, then he will ask in interview, then what is read only in programming? Because in computer programming, we have read only also. We have constant, we have read only, both are present. Then he will ask, then what is read only? Right? What majority people misunderstand about constant is you cannot change, but constant can change. When it can change at the time of initialization, it can change. For example, see here, and very important. So it will not allow shadowing and hoisting also. Hoisting, it will not allow shadowing and hoisting. This is more restricted. So that means when compared to var and LET, it is more restricted. It will not allow shadowing and hoisting also. That means, for example, you see here, suppose I am defining here constant x and x equal to 10 and document.write x equal to some plus x. And immediately you can see that it shows an error, missing initializer. It says that missing initializer. That means initialization is compulsory, right? Okay, I am initializing it to 5. After initializing, you are trying to assign. Is it allowed? Not allowed. Then it will show another assignment is not allowed. So first it is saying you are not initializing. After that it is saying you can't assign. Okay, then I will remove the assignment part. And you see now it is working fine. That means by seeing this, because you cannot assign a value, by seeing this, people think that constant means value cannot be changed. That means they think that this 5 cannot be changed, but which is wrong. 5 can be changed. Suppose I will take this from a prompt. I will say enter number. Am I right? Then it is asking enter number. I entered some 10. I am asking another again enter number 20. It is taking 20, changing. It's changing, na? So constant is not about changing. Constant is about initialize. Initializing means at the time of declaring, it must have some value. And it will continue that value anywhere you want without allowing to change that value. But again, you can change it by reinitializing. We call it reinitializing. Reinitializing means again you can reinitialize. That means you reload again, then it will reinitialize again. That means on refreshing, we can reinitialize and we can use it. So the constant value can be changed. This in future you will see in so many places. Surprisingly, you will see that in all advanced technologies, they will be using constant very much. So if it is not changeable, why they use constant very much? Because constant can be changed. Only the point is constant indicates that initialization is compulsory. That means before I start, tell me what should I have? Some value should be there. It cannot be empty. It cannot be blank. It cannot be without defining a value. It will start with a value. That means even you don't mention any price, at least you put some 0. Initialize with 0. That is the meaning of constant. And of course, you see, I'm defining here constant is 10. And again, constant x equal to 20. It is not possible because that is shadowing. Na? It is not possible. Shadowing is not possible. Hoisting is also not possible. So constant have more restrictions. So nobody can ask you a question like which one is best, right? Because if any one is best, why they given others? Why you have var, why you have let? There is nothing like which one is best. We use all three. According to the situation and the requirement, we use all the three things, right? This is generally the concept of declaring the variables, right? How do we configure the variable? Later, so many points we will see that. I hope you are clear. So variables are declared, variables are assigned, and variables are initialized. And to declare variables, 3 keywords are there: var, let, and const. Right? Now, when you define variable, which variable is function scope, which is block scope? Var is function scope, let and const are block scope. Which one allows shadowing, hoisting? Var will allow shadowing and hoisting. And what is shadowing? Redeclaring or reinitializing same name identifier which is already taken by somebody. Something is already taken. What is hoisting? Hoisting is trying to access a variable before it is declared, which is possible while working with var. That is important. Another important is here. So what is global scope? Global scope for variable. What is global scope for a variable? Actually, what is global scope for variable? A global scope allows to access variable from any function. Allows to access variable from any function. The scope outside function is considered as global. The scope outside function is called global. Anything outside the function is global. That means you write a script and actually this is global. And you write a function. This is actually local. This is local scope, that is global scope. So remember, anywhere outside, that means this is also global. Above, below, anywhere outside the function, inside the script is considered as what? Global. That is global scope. And very important here, you can declare, you can configure a global scope variable by using which keyword? Var or let or const. Which one we can use? By using all, var, let or const. Because many times people are having a misunderstanding about this also, because some websites, YouTube people tell that var is used for a global variable. That's nonsense actually, because global variable is not about which keyword is used. It is about where it is defined. Global is not about which keyword you are using. It is about which location you are defined. That is global, right? So var, let, const, anything you can use for global variable, right? For example, you see we have here. So this is function 1. We have function 2. We are calling both function 1 and function 2, both. And in function 1, I want some values. Same I want to use in function 2 also. But if you declare anything in function 1 is not accessible to function 2. That means var x equal to some 10 you declared here. You initialized here. I'm accessing document.write x in function 1. So how much? X. The same I am trying to access. Here. So x in function 2 is x. So is any variable of function 1 accessible to function 2? Not accessible. That means you can see that it is not accessible. X is not in function 2. So it is not accessible. That means you cannot access. Suppose I put a BR here, right? It is not accessible. We can't access. But if I keep this outside, if I keep it outside the function, that means now it is accessible to both. In function 1, it is 10. In function 2, it is 10. Global is about where you configured it. Suppose I'm using here let, x equal to 20. So it is accessible let also. Suppose I defined constant x is equal to 50, then you can see it is also accessible. So it doesn't matter which keyword you are using, it matters where you are configuring. That is what actually global scope is. You can declare any place. That is the concept of global. There are some more points about variable, global, and other things that we'll see in next session. Tomorrow we'll do that. Okay. In tomorrow's session, we will continue learning about variable. Once you learned, then you can put in examples, right? For that, we need to learn so many things that we'll see in tomorrow's session. Okay, right.